should we just get into our predictions right away, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's go over the predictions. I kind of have one that I'm having Lakers in five.
Really? I
Yeah.
have Lakers in 6.
Okay.
I want to say Miami because I want Miami to win so badly, but I do think this is going to be the Lakers' toughest series of the playoffs. I think
Oh, yeah. Hopefully.
by far.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Um, so why do you think do you think it's why do you think they're just going to walk through Miami in 5 games?
Like we always build up these Lakers competitors. Dame Lillard, and with the healthy
Yeah.
team back again, CJ McCollum, everyone, they're the greatest 8 seed of all time. They get beat in five. Oh, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, they don't have people to guard shooters. They don't have
Mhm.
point guard defenders and shooting guard defenders. They get beat in five. Uh,
Mhm.
this Denver Nuggets team, comeback kids. They came back from 2-3-1 deficits, knocked off the Clippers. They're amazing. Got beat in five. Like they're just beating everyone in five. Like
Yeah.
they're a super team. Like people don't want to admit it because there's no third star and there's no fourth star.
Mhm.
But when you have two players that are both potentially like top five players, you're a super team, and like you're just that dominant that you're just gonna beat everyone. You're gonna destroy them because you just have two guys that could drop 35 consistently. And the people always talk about, oh, with the Heat, you don't know who's gonna be the leading scorer. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
because no one can consistently do it.
Yeah.
That's why they need multiple guys to step up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They need one game Tyler Hero. They need one game Goran Dragic. They need
Mhm.
one game Jimmy. They need one game Bam. You know what I mean? But with the
Mhm.
Heat, with the Lakers, it's just like, no, we have it two guys. Like everyone knows their role, and like it's so much easier to just perform your role day in day out than having to perform based on the day. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because based on the day, Tyler Hero is going to get 20 shots versus 5 shots, and that's just such a hard system. And those players are they have to get so much credit because they made the finals in that system. Because I don't think any team has ever had a system like that and made the finals. I know people are going to bring up the '04 Pistons, but they had a system. You know what I mean? Rasheed Wallace and Chauncey Billups were the scorers, where Rip Hamilton and Ben Wallace and Tayshaun Prince were the defenders. This team doesn't even have that system. It's everyone play defense, and depending on the day, everyone shoots. I
Mhm.
I think they're one of the most overrated teams, and they're gonna get beat handily in five.
Really, you think they're overrated?
Yeah,
Well, what are the three things you need to beat a zone defense? You need smart players who
hmm
know how to manipulate it and pick apart it and recognize it when they throw it at you. You
yeah,
need versatile bigs who can get in between the zone and score in the mid range and off the dribble.
yeah,
And you need good offensive rebounders. And the Lakers have
yeah,
LeBron James, the smartest player in the NBA,
yeah,
Anthony Davis, the most versatile big in the NBA,
yeah,
and three of the longest and at most athletic bigs in the playoffs in McGee and Howard and Anthony Davis. So I think that zone is not going to work for Miami at all.
yeah.
So I expect to see a lot of man, and I'm really interested to see the Anthony Davis Bam matchup. Obviously, the LeBron Jimmy matchup too. I really want to see that because Jimmy, we know even if he scores like 12 points a game, he's going to take pride on that in that matchup. I don't expect Bam to be scoring 22 points a game like he was
No,
sometimes against the Celtics against
yeah,
Anthony Davis, but Davis going from being guarded by Nikola Jokic, even and Jeremy Grant was good, and Paul Millsap was good, but Bam is a different story. So I'm really interested to see that. And I will say that even though I have the Lakers in 6, I expect Miami to win a couple of games because they're just infinitely more athletic and on the defensive
ooh,
end than the Nuggets were.
oh, Nuggets, yeah, yeah,
Not than the Lakers, than the Nuggets.
nothing, yeah, then the Nuggets,
And
yeah,
just the easy free throws and the easy drives to the rim against like Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic and Plumlee and stuff that the Lakers were getting. That's not going to happen against Miami. They're obviously still going to be able to score, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be a lot harder, and I think there's going to be a couple nights where the Lakers just don't have it on the offensive end, and then like you said, even though Miami doesn't have a number one guy, even like a clear number one, number two guy, pretty much everyone on their team can score. And if they can get like Kuzma and Danny Green and Rondo and Caruso and even LeBron to just like work because they move so much off the ball. They run so much like dribble handoffs
Hmm.
and stuff. If they can just get them to work and tire them out of the offensive end and make a lot of their threes, I see them winning a couple games at least in the series.
Yeah, the reason I just don't see that happening is because like Jimmy Butler has to play so good, and he just disappointed me in that series so much against the Celtics. Because if he's not hitting threes consistently, that's going to cause LeBron James to sag into the paint. And now you have Anthony Davis who's guarding Bam, who's not a 3-point shooter, so he's in the mid range. And you have LeBron James sagging into the mid range too. Oh man, driving in against LeBron James
Mm,
and Anthony Davis, that's
yeah,
impossible. Like,
yeah.
and if you have Jay Crowder, who was I thought I'm such a big fan of, and if he can't hit threes, you can't play him, and he's such a better defender than who's going to come in to replace him
Mm-hmm.
at 36-year-old Iguodala or a Duncan Robinson. You
Duncan
know what I mean?
Robinson. Yeah.
Like like Jay Crowder has to be on there because, as you said, they can't play zone to cover Tyler Hero and Duncan
Mm-hmm.
Robinson. So that means only one of them are going to be on the court at a time. So Jay Crowder has to play, and if he can't hit threes, oh, this team's like it's a wrap. Like they're going to get destroyed. So they have to find that shooting touch if they want to compete. Because
100%.
right now the only player that's shooting good is Duncan Robinson. Like obviously he's shooting
Mm-hmm.
well,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
besides other than him, like no he is shooting that great. And one thing that people are going to underestimate is their best playmaker has probably who is Bam has Anthony Davis on him now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's so tough.
Yeah. And those open, pretty much wide open rolls and cuts to the rim that Ben was getting against the Celtics is
Hmm.
not going to be happening against Davis. Um, but yeah, it definitely, like you said, it comes down to the 3-point shooters of the Heat is because they can get open shots. Like
Yeah.
they run like really some like you look at some of the actions they run and like dribble handoffs and
Hmm.
pick and rolls and stuff like that. They get open shots pretty much whenever they want. It's just like, is Hero going to be able to knock him down? Is Robinson going to keep this hot streak going? Because he had a cold streak to start like the first 4 games of 3 or 4
Against
games
the
of the last
Pacers.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, are those guys gonna be able to hit their shots? We know Bam and Jimmy don't like taking threes, and they're not very good at it. Iguodala
Hmm.
is probably going to play some minutes on LeBron. Is he going to be able to hit threes? Jay Crowder was really, really cold at points in the Celtics series.
Celtic series. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So if they can hit their shots, they can win 1 or 2 games. I think. I'd really like to see this go 7. I'd really like to see Miami win, but it's going to take a lot for them to win. I think. I mean, the Davis ankle thing is a factor too, but by all reports, he's fine.
Yeah.
Um, but like, yeah, if he can, if LeBron and Davis are both fully healthy, and last episode we said LeBron looks like he might be washed.
And then he
He's not washed.
not washed.
He just kind of picks and chooses his spots. I think
Yeah.
better than he used to.
Hmm.
But that's not going to be happening in the finals. There's no time to mess around in the finals.
Yeah.
LeBron
He's
is
playing.
probably going to average a 28-point triple double every night. I think,
Yeah.
if not more. And Davis is probably good for 28 a night too, but Bam is going to make it that job a lot harder than Jokic did, a lot harder than whoever the Nuggets could throw at him did. Um, and the thing is, the Lakers are probably still going to get a lot of offensive boards because if Miami decides to run Bam at the 5, Lakers are
Yeah.
just so much bigger, right? LeBron
Yeah.
is pretty much the size of their
Bam.
center, so
Yeah.
like, yeah,
This is it's a bad matchup, man. Like people are like always are gonna look at matchups and like they're always gonna bring up Giannis and how good they stopped Giannis and how similar Anthony Davis and Giannis are. They are
they were built
similar
to stop the
players.
Bucks. So they were built to stop
Yeah.
teams with one really, really, really good big,
Hmm.
like Milwaukee. Um, and they weren't necessarily built to stop teams that had like this
Two.
much size and this much
Yeah.
athleticism, this much skill. I mean, there isn't really a team that has that, so it's gonna be really hard for Miami.
And the one key difference between Anthony Davis and Giannis, Anthony Davis will shoot that mid ranger, and he'll even shoot that three,
Yeah.
and he'll make you pay for it, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know we get on like Kristaps Porzingis a lot. Like that's the player who we kind of bash the most because he's 7'3" and he always shoots, and we're always like he should go to the paint more. But like he's showing us, Anthony Davis is showing us that you don't need to be a back to the basket player.
No.
You could just shoot you could just shoot mid-rangers and get 29, 30 points and help your team win. And if they just give Anthony Davis those mid-rangers that they gave Giannis, it's going to be a wrap
Yeah,
because Anthony Davis
100%.
will knock them down.
That's the thing. That's why the zone works against Milwaukee, because even if you leave Giannis open from three, if you leave him open the mid range,
He's going to
he's not going
drive.
to take it, or he's just going to clank it off the rim.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis will 100% make you pay for that. His mid
Hmm.
range has come along so much, and some of the biggest shots in that series against
Yeah.
Denver were Anthony Davis jump shots.
Yeah.
He's able to keep making those against the Heat, especially if they keep trying to stick to that zone defense. That is not going to end well for them.
And honestly, they might be a little mad at they should be a little mad at the Nuggets because the way that series ended, KCP and Danny Green has to have some confidence finally, like after
Mm,
so long.
yeah,
Like they ended that series on such a high note with them just wetting shots, getting good defensive plays, and like as I always said, if Danny Green and KCP are shooting, the Lakers are undefeatable. They're
yeah,
probably one of the greatest teams of all time. It's just that they can't always do that, and that's how you beat them
mm-hmm,
with Danny Green and KCP playing on your team and
yeah,
missing all those shots.
yeah,
So, man, with this confidence that Danny Green and KCP have, it's going to be tough.
yeah. I do want to see, like, I want to see if Goran Dragic is able to keep this bubble hot streak going that he's had, because he is going to be one of the most important players, because we all know the Lakers' weakness on the defensive end is their guards, even with Rondo back.
Mhm.
Um, so if Dragic can be consistent, maybe it's a bit of a closer series.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The thing with Dragic is, like, I honestly expect LeBron to pick him up
Mm.
if Jimmy Butler's having off games, which, to be fair, Jimmy Butler does have a lot of time
Oh
because
yeah,
I don't think he scored a single series in that whole Boston Celtics series. I think he scored over 20 twice or three times.
yeah. Was he ever their leading scorer in that series? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I don't think he really was. So
I don't think
like
so.
that's insane. And when you could have LeBron on Goran Dragic, it's gonna be very tough
Hmm.
for Goran Dragic, because Goran Dragic, as good of a shooter he is, it's because he drives to the paint and has that left-handed
Oh yeah,
touch around the rim.
yeah. Such a good
So that's
touch.
gonna be tough. That's gonna be
Yeah,
tough.
yeah, definitely. I Even though I do agree with you that it's probably, I think Lakers in six. I see Miami getting a couple. Um,
Hmm.
it's gonna be a convincing win for the Lakers, but it's gonna be a really good series. I think just to see how LeBron and AD adjust to that zone, if Miami even runs it a lot. Um, see what we're gonna get from Hero and Robinson. I think is gonna be really interesting. Um, are the Lakers secondary, like, outside of LeBron and AD? Are they gonna give you anything at all? Or I can't believe that the Lakers are gonna win a championship with,
With this roster.
who's their third best player?
Rondo.
Like, that's insane. Caruso is going to be playing huge minutes, like crunch time minutes, for a
Yeah.
championship team. That just blows my mind. But that, like, so far LeBron and AD have been good enough to for that not to matter. But I think they're going up against the deepest team that they have, the best defensive team that they have. Um, but like every team they played, Portland had a glaring weakness, which was uh no one on that team is really a good defender at all. They
Yeah.
were they were just dead from just basically killing themselves in the seeding games to get into the playoffs. Houston, tiny and really streaky from three.
Hmm.
Uh, Denver, not a great defensive team, and Miami is, they kind of similar to the Raptors, don't have a clear cut number one guy who you just give the ball to at the end of the game and say, we're gonna live or die by what you do. Um, yeah, so far LeBron and AD's greatness has been able to get them overcome this roster lack of depth, and it's probably going to be good enough to win a championship too, which is crazy.
Yeah, the one thing I see a lot of analysts, former NBA players bringing up is LeBron and Anthony Davis have always went against duos in this run. So they could kind of focus the whole team on two players. You focus all on Dame and CJ, Portland
Mm-hmm.
Trail Blazers done. You focus everything on James Harden and Russell Westbrook,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of done. You focus everything on Jamal Murray and Jokic, they're kind of done. If you focus everything on Bam and Jimmy, they're just going to destroy you with other players. So that's why a lot of people have this going 7-6. But man, I just cannot see Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jay Crowder, and Goran Dragic beating LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't see those names
Yeah,
beating LeBron James.
that's why I have
Like,
them winning 2 games, maybe even 3, but I think 2 is more likely. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think LeBron James loses to a team like that. But I
mhm,
mean, you say that that sounds crazy. LeBron James losing to a team where what Goran Dragic is the third best player,
third best
probably.
player. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
leading scorer.
yeah, and but the Lakers could win a championship with Rajon. With how old is Rondo?
37, I think he's so
37-year-old
old.
Rajon Rondo being their third best player. That like
Yeah.
he has to be the worst third best player on any championship team in history. No way.
Yeah, the third best player last year was Kyle Lowry. To
Yeah.
this year's Rajon Rondo. That's
Yeah.
a huge drop off.
Oh my
And before
god.
that, the third best player was Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
So
And before that, what, Kevin Love?
yeah, Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge drop off.
Yeah.
No matter who wins, because Goran Dragic or Rajon Rondo is
Oh
not living
my
up to
god.
that.
Yeah.
But man, this season, with obviously with the whole COVID and everything, like
Mhm.
with the champions and everything, this is the most unique season in NBA history.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
maybe you're wrong and LeBron loses to a team. It just would shock me.